Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Welcome to a new day. Hope that you're doing great. Hope that you're feeling wonderful this morning, positive and strong, and ready to face the day. I know every time we get up, it's such a challenge, really, isn't it, to see whether we're going to be okay. There's so much going on in the news and in the world today that just we feel like it's never been this bad. But when you think back over history, there's just been we've gained a lot of perspective over time. Let's put it that way. It just seems always that I think it's the media, though, the increase in intensity of the volume of conversation. It's not so much the content, but the volume. We've always had these challenges. But anyway, here I am starting my day prioritizing with love. I'm just going to love my love tea, and hopefully it will. That word will help to put your day in perspective and have a cup of tea or just relax. We have an article written by one of our bloggers, Ann Crowther, and she wrote. I think the title was something like 6 Reasons That You're Really Awesome in Your 60s. Now, that's kind of an overused word, maybe awesome, but awesome is just awesome, full of awe, that you have been through so much. And we are awesome. We have actually lived a lot. And we've lived through times that we thought we were never going to survive. And we've dealt with issues that were heartbreaking or that were, life changing. And we did. We got through 100% of those things. We are still here. I think that's what we have so much to be proud of, that we've made it this long. And it's a very, I don't know, just a very personal thing when we talk about our individual life challenges and we think about all the things we've lived through and been through. And at the bottom line, for me, it just validates the strength of the human mind and especially of women in our 60s. It validates our strength and resilience and our determination and ability to to really deal with any challenges that come our way. We nearly always get up again after we fall down. And I think that's the secret, is to not be discouraged by setbacks and disappointments and loss. And that's just going to keep intensifying as we get older. So we have to kind of pull on and from our life experience. And I know for me, we've talked a little bit about, the good times and the bad times. The bad times in Anne's situation, she lists some of the things that she's dealt with, and they're pretty dramatic. Most of them I've not dealt with personally myself: hardship, abuse, poverty, and certainly some of those things do resonate with me. And as I'm sure they will with you, if you sit down and kind of do a life history, a life story review. And of course, I think about my childhood. We were very, very poor. We didn't have anything at all, but we had a lot of love in our family, and we got through it. I was a victim of my family. My parents were divorced when I was young. We moved a lot when I was a child. Every year for about 8 years of my life, I moved every single year, and so these things shape you, don't they? I lost my mom when I was 18. She was very young when she died of cancer. So there you go. Lots of people have dealt with that challenge for sure. And at a broader level, we've dealt with inequality in the workplace. We've dealt with, discrimination, with abuse, with all these things that, if they're not physical abuse, with verbal or psychological abuse. And of course, now with all the Me Too movement and other of the social media vehicles that are giving voice to these issues, a lot of women in their 60s didn't have that voice. And now, maybe, certainly from my perspective, it's not that it's too late, but it's like I've kind of already put it away somewhere. I've dealt with it, I've dealt with issues, and I put them to one side. And I don't have any real desire to go back over those things again. And that's, I think, for a lot of women, especially older women, that's what we're feeling right now. We've survived. We've done it through our sheer act of resilience and willpower. And, losing people, loneliness, divorce, they're all things that we've learned how to deal with. Now live relatively happy and healthy and well-balanced lives. So Anne's article talks about the bad times, of course, and we all want to think about those and put them in place. But there's the good times. And the good times, it could be, they're different for different people. For example, for me, it's my children. I adore my children. Both of my boys are such good people. They're such kind human beings, and that is really it for me. I mean, that they're kind to each other. They're kind to their families, and just good. Have a goodness in their heart, compassionate, and a strength of character, and independence, and consideration for the world and for themselves, and just good values. Now I'm going on a bit, but this to me is is important. So that was for me, but the good times. It wouldn't really matter any of the things that happened that were not so good, or the separations or my divorce. All those were incredibly sad and deep and meaningful at the time. But I like many of you, we've all moved on from that and let the bitterness or that unhappiness go. It's just not valuable and not healthy. So that's, I think, the good times are always maybe tinged with a little bit of sadness. But we've got anniversaries to remember, music concerts that we've been to, theater that we've experienced. For me, travel moments. I mean, of course, you'll see the sunset on the beach, but it's true, those moments in nature when you're overwhelmed and enthralled by the goodness in this world. Has it been a hobby, something that you've really got good at, that you love doing, whether it's, knitting or sewing or quilting or painting or singing or dancing, whatever it is, that's a good time. There's been a book that you've loved that's changed your life, or maybe a friendship that is ended that was so important to you. I mean, you can literally go through the hundreds of good things that have happened in your life. I'm probably in the thousands. Every day is a good day with you guys. So that's 365 just to start. Every day I get to be with you. But anyway, I think that the point that Ellen's making here is that we have lived through, or sorry, Anna's made this, that we've lived through bad times and good times. The sexual revolution, the burn the ban phase, the women's liberation movement, being in the workplace for the first time, and establishing priorities and educating people about the value of women in the workplace. Doing both, being a worker and a mom. And I think that's something that we fought for in our generation. And of course, there were the political points that we fought out against and that we spoke towards, and just did our best to try to make the world a better place. We know that there are a lot of women around the world who are much less fortunate than us and are dealing with illness and depression, loneliness. My heart goes out to everybody who is feeling right now that they're in a bad time. But try, if you can, to find the goodness in that moment. And like I've described, to come through it, knowing, I know this isn't helping some of you, but helping that things will get better. Things will get better. I just know personally some people that are dealing with some really challenging issues, and there's nothing I can do except to say, I'm here for you. I love you. I really do care about what you're dealing with. And so I think that's part of it. That's part of the process of contributing. And just to close, I think it's important to sort of summarize the good things and keep everything else in perspective. According to Anne, we survived hardships and food shortages in the post-war years. Remember that a lot of us in close to 70s had to deal with that. We marched for what we believed in. We ditched the traditional housewife role and went out to work and tried to combine both. We're learning. We went on to become, traditionally in the traditional male roles: train drivers, astronauts, engineers, and of course all the other wonderful things that we've loved to do with teaching, nursing, being a doctor, administrative work, marketing, all those beautiful communications roles. And we believed in ourselves. We had the strength to survive to 60 and beyond, and here we are. We are awesome. I like that, Anne. Thank you for reminding us. And I hope that you feel that in your heart, despite what might be going on, that you are in a good space. You're awesome. You're doing great. So I'd like to know, though, just to get some perspective, what hardships have you dealt with in your life that you come through and survived, and share with us, how you've managed, how you've been resilient. And maybe what was one cause that you fought for as a young woman? Let's have a conversation. Leave your comments in the section below, and I'll join in myself too. And let's just be grateful today for who we are, where we are, and what we've accomplished in our lives. You're awesome. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take very good care. I'll speak with you again soon. Bye bye for now.